Hi there, business owner, and welcome to the 3Bs podcast, the place where we go beyond the numbers and dive into strategies to help you build a better business one step at a time. I'm your host, Stephanie, a multi-award-winning entrepreneur with over a decade of experience in the bookkeeping and accountancy world. If you're a business owner looking to streamline, grow, and get back the time that you deserve, you're in the right place. We're tackling real-world problems, answering tough questions, and digging deep into business building secrets in just 15 minutes each week. So are you ready to build a better business with confidence and clarity? Then let's go. Hello and welcome back to another episode of the 3Bs podcast, your go-to place for around 15 minutes of motivation, education, and inspiration to help you build a better business each week. If we haven't met before, hi, my name is Stephanie Marshall. I am a bookkeeper, business owner, podcaster, author, and someone who genuinely cares about helping the humans behind businesses feel more confident, more in control, and a lot less overwhelmed. And I can't believe we're saying this, but today's episode is number 157, which means this is the final episode of Series 3. And I wanted to take a moment to pause, to reflect, and to share some of the biggest lessons that business has taught me. But before we get into that, I just want to say thank you. This podcast has now reached over 3,000 downloads across podcast platforms in 38 countries, more than 6,900 views on YouTube, and almost 60,000 impressions over there as well. And as you know, I love data because data helps us make informed decisions in business. But behind those numbers are real people. People listening on dog walks, on school runs, in the car, while making a cup of tea. And that means more to me than any metric ever will. So thank you so much for being here. Now, running a business teaches you a lot. Some lessons you pick up quickly, some take a little bit longer, and some, I hate to say it, but we learn the hard way. So today I just want to share 10 lessons that business has taught me. Not from a textbook, not from theory, from real life experience. And if you're running a business right now, which I presume you are by watching or listening to this podcast, I think at least a few of these will resonate with you. Lesson number 1, revenue is exciting, but profit is what matters. Revenue is the sales, it's the number that everyone talks about, and it sounds impressive, but it's profit that actually changes your life. Profit is what pays you, what gives you breathing space, what allows you to make decisions without panic about your business. I've seen businesses turning over a lot of money and still feeling incredibly stressed because the profit just wasn't there. Lesson 2 is that busy does not mean successful. I know I talk about it a lot on this podcast, but this one is huge. A full diary, a busy inbox, constant activity. We all know that feeling. But that doesn't always equal progress. Sometimes it just means you're busy, and there's a big difference there. Lesson number 3. Not every client is a good client. In the early days, you say yes to everything. And that's normal. But over time, you tend to realize that some of those clients are costing you far more than they're worth. Time, energy, headspace, peace. And the moment you start being more selective, everything shifts. Lesson number 4. Systems make everything easier, not more complicated. Easier. When things are in your head, it works until it doesn't. And all the time you are keeping everything in your head, it's taking up headspace that is stopping you from being able to breathe, stopping you from being able to put anything down, and that's not sustainable long term. Systems create consistency, they reduce stress, and they give you space to think properly. I think so often we think, oh, it's going to take so much time to write that process down, to write that system down, to implement a system for onboarding or running that particular repetitive task or doing your admin or writing down your KPIs. But actually, I no longer have to think because everything is written down for me. And even though I know that process inside and out, having it written down as something to refer back to means that there's less space in my head with having to make sure I remember how to do that thing, or remember to tick that box, or remember to send that particular report, or this client likes things presented in this certain way. Everything's written down, everything's in a system and in a process, so that I can close the laptop and leave the office at the end of the day, and it's still there when I go back to it. But I don't have to keep it in my head. Lesson 5 is something I care so deeply about. Your numbers should support you and not scare you. Your finances should not feel overwhelming. They should feel like a tool, something that helps you make decisions, not something that you avoid and then be fearful of or stress about. Most of you did not start a business to do bookkeeping or accountancy. Therefore, it's important that you arm yourself with enough knowledge and education that the numbers don't feel scary anymore. And if they still feel scary or messy, get that support into your business, like us at ABCS UK. Lesson 6. You don't have to love every day in your business. I think this is something people don't talk about enough. You can love your business. I talked about just last week how much I love Mondays. Mondays are my favorite day of the week. They're my busiest day in the office. But you can love your business and love Mondays and still have days where you think this is really hard. And that doesn't mean you're doing it wrong. It means you're human. And so often on social media, when you're consuming content or talking to other business owners, they give you the filtered sunshine version. Well, I'm here to be real with you. Business is not always amazing. Some days it is really, really hard, but it's yours and you're building something incredibly special. So keep going. Lesson 7, community matters more than you think. Business can feel incredibly lonely, especially when you start a business and maybe your family and friends around you are all in employment. They aren't looking to build businesses. They don't know what it's like to build a business, which is why it's so important that having people around you who understand it is so important. People who get it, people you can talk to, and especially people who remind you you're not the only one figuring things out. If you feel really lonely right now and don't have a community, please do drop into my DMs on TikTok, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, drop into my emails. Let me be the first person in your community. Let me help you find your people so you don't feel alone in this journey anymore. Lesson 8 is perfection slows you down. This is the one that took me a really long time to shed my perfectionist skin and just do the thing anyway. Waiting for things to be perfect just keeps you stuck. And progress comes from action and not perfection. I will often get into transactions either personally or professionally, and I see their systems and processes and I look at their sales page or they're sending me a Word document invoice and I think, oh, it's so not professional. It's not the sort of standard that I personally would put out content. It's not the way that I would like my website to look. It's not the impression I would want my clients to get. But we all start somewhere. Sometimes it is a Word document. Sometimes it is a WhatsApp conversation. Sometimes it is as simple as a payment link. But we all have to start somewhere. Don't wait until everything is perfect. Launch the thing, start the podcast, post that thing on social media. Because the first couple of times, yeah, it's going to be rubbish. But every single time you do that, it gets less rubbish until you become quite a seasoned pro. 57 episodes ago, there was no video content to this podcast. There was me in my pajamas on my sofa with an iPhone. And look where we are now. I like to think we're fairly professionally edited. Yeah, it's all done myself. Because every single week I get a little bit better. I learn a new thing. I learn a new skill. I find another setting in our software that I didn't know we had. I find a new tool that makes things a little bit easier. Just keep going, which leads me really nicely onto lesson 9. Decisions matter more than ideas. Ideas are easy. We all have them. And if you're an entrepreneur, I am 99.9% certain your notes in your phone probably look something like mine. Absolutely full of content ideas, offer ideas, business ideas. We have them all the time. But businesses don't grow from ideas. They grow from decisions and then taking the action. And that's the most important thing I want you to take from this podcast and this episode. Take the action, make the decision, and then do the thing. There must be in my notes on my phone somewhere in the region of around 20 different offers, courses, services, product ideas that I have had in the last almost 5 years. While they are sat in the notes in my phone, they are making no money. They are not generating any revenue. They are not making any impact. They are not serving any client because they're sat in my notes. If I release those things and had one sale. I've made one impact. And if it doesn't work, great. We learn from that. We pull it. We go back to lesson 8. Perfection just slows you down. You learn from that. You fail fast and you release something else, or you just stop selling it if it's not the right fit anymore for you. And finally, lesson 10. A better business is built on purpose. Not pressure, not panic, not comparison, but purpose. And if you are here listening to or watching this podcast, the 3Bs podcast, then amazing, well done. You are already building your business on purpose. By understanding what you're building, why you're building it, and making decisions that align with that why is how you build a better business. Very, very rarely do you accidentally build a business. You accidentally fall into a business. We see the stories on the news of somebody that accidentally created a product, but they already had a purpose in mind for that product. They already had a problem they wanted to find a solution to for that product. Build your business on purpose, understand what you're building, why you're building it, who you're building it for, and you will build a better business. Now, if you're listening to this episode and thinking, I've learned some of those lessons the hard way, you're not alone. I learned most of those the hard way. That's business. As we wrap up Series 3, I want to leave you with a few things that I hope will stick with you and help you on this business journey. Your business doesn't need to be perfect. It doesn't need to look like anybody else's, but it should feel like something that works for you, something that supports you, something that you are building intentionally. And if it doesn't feel like that yet, that's okay. You can change it, one decision at a time. Now, before we finish up, I would love to hear from you. I want to know what you want more of in Series 4. What topics would help you most? What conversations do we need to have? Message me on Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, email, wherever you hang out. Because this podcast is not just me talking. It's a conversation. And I want to help you build better businesses. If you've enjoyed Series 3 or any of these podcast episodes, please do take a few seconds to like, rate, and review this podcast. It really does help more business owners find it, and that's the whole premise of this podcast. And if you need support going into the new tax year, whether that's clarity, structure, or just someone to help you make sense of your numbers, that is exactly what we do at ABCS UK, because your business deserves better. You can find the links in the show notes and book a discovery call or get 15 minutes in my diary so that we can have a conversation to see how I can help you build a better business. Thank you so much for listening, whether this is your first episode or your 157th. I'm Stephanie Marshall. This is the 3Bs podcast, and I will see you next week for Series 4, Episode 1. Bye. And that brings us to the end of another episode of the 3Bs podcast. I hope you found it useful and that you're walking away with some motivation, inspiration, or education to help you build a better business. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and of course connect with us on social media for more insights, tips, and behind the scenes content. Your next step in building a better business is just a click away. I can't wait to connect with you, and I'll see you on the next episode. Bye.